Apple's MacBook Air is one of the most buzzed about laptops out there right now. Everybody loves the super thin, sleek, and sexy design, but it is kind of a niche product. It's not for everybody. It's only got that one USB port. It's a little on the expensive side, and even though it's less than an inch thick, it still weighs about 3 pounds, which could be a little much to carry around every day. So if you love the idea of a sleek and slim and sexy laptop, but this is not exactly the right one for you, let's take a look at some Apple MacBook Air alternatives. Now this is the Sony Vaio TZ150. Steve Jobs actually compared the MacBook Air to this when he introduced it, positively of course, and as you can see, it's not quite as thin as the Air. It's only got an 11-inch screen as opposed to a 13-inch screen, but they do manage to pack in pretty much every port and connection that the Air is missing. You've got USB connections, you've got SD card, you've got little media control buttons, and it has an optical drive too. Of course, Vaios can be on the expensive side, and they have the slower Intel ultra-low voltage CPU, which is great for battery life, but not quite as speedy as the full-powered CPU in the MacBook Air. And of course, Sony loves to load up all their machines with a lot of bloatware. You're going to want to clean out the startup folder on this guy, and that is the Sony Vaio TZ150. A lot of people like the MacBook Air for its sturdy aluminum construction, but if you're a little tougher on your laptops than that, Panasonic has an ultra-portable Toughbook, the Toughbook W7. And this thing is obviously a good deal thicker than the MacBook Air, but it is very tough. It's water-resistant. You can drop it off the side of the table. You can even kind of stand on it. It does, however, have that slower ultra-low voltage CPU, and it is kind of on the heavy and bulky side for an ultra-portable. That is the Panasonic Toughbook W7. Now, if not for the MacBook Air, the Asus U6s might be considered one of the sleekest and sexiest laptops out there. It's a 12-inch laptop. The Air is a 13-inch, but this one does have cool leather styling, and it manages to fill in all the ports and connections that the Air is missing. It's got USB, it's got express cards, it's got an SD card slot, and of course it has an optical drive. Now, because it's a good deal thicker than the MacBook Air, they managed to work in a full-power laptop CPU as opposed to the ultra-low voltage ones that a lot of other ultra-portables have. That's the Asus U6s. And finally, this is very close to being the ultimate ultra-portable laptop, the Toshiba Portage R500. Kind of a similar look to the MacBook Air. This is a 12-inch screen as opposed to the 13. It's a little bit thicker, but it's got a smaller footprint overall. Now, this is the SSD or solid-state hard drive version of the R500. That means no moving parts in the hard drive. You can also get an SSD drive in the MacBook Air. That version is going to cost you about $3,100. The same 64 gig drive in the Toshiba is about $26.99. You can save quite a bit there. And of course, it also has multiple USB connections. It's got FireWire. It's got an SD card slot. There's no optical drive. You can, however, get a version with an optical drive that'll drive up the weight a little bit because, as is, this thing weighs almost half what the Air weighs. It's about 1.7 pounds. It's like carrying nothing at all. That is the Toshiba Portage R500. So there you have it, 5 ultra-portable, ultra-fancy laptops, one of which is probably right for you. If you want to check out all the details, pluses and minuses, comparisons for every one of these systems, you can read our post at crave.cnet.com. I'm Dan Ackerman.